Good morning, Panther fans. Oh, let's fix this. I am having the technical morning from hell so far this morning. It is early on Sunday morning for me. So so yeah. So yesterday we sat in this space and I said, you know what this team's gonna do is they're gonna beat the Bruins and give us that glimmer. And I mean, and boy, when this team wants to lay it on thick, you know that guy that uses the suave pickup lines at the bar that you're sitting there and you hear him and you're like, man, is that really going to work? Is she really going to fall for that? That's this team, man. That's this team. Unbelievable. Barkov ties it up with a couple of seconds left.
1.4 seconds.
and brings us from the depths of hell to looking at the standings again. Good morning, Stu.
There. I expected a 5-1 trashing by the Bruins. I really did.
Yeah.
I figured back to back. We sucked the night before. And then a little something in the back of my brain said, fuck that. They're going to say fuck you to everybody and they're going to pull out a win.
Right.
So, you just, again, you never know what you're getting on a particular night.
No.
Friday night was a boring, really suck-ass game that, showed me nothing. But it just goes to show you when they play with heart and determination and grit and, we're not losing, F you, they find a way to get it done. I mean, I thought that we took it to the Bruins a lot of that game. And if not for, some oddball, Montour, hockey 101, bro.
Right. Yeah.
You don't pass from behind the net up the middle like that and not take a chance of it getting intercepted, which happens a lot. And before you know it, it's in the net. Yep. As far as Sam Bennett goes, dude, are you a fucking moron? Don't touch the puck and it goes to the other end of the ice out of harm's way. Touch the puck and it could possibly go in your net, which is exactly what you did.
Yeah.
But he redeemed himself.
He redeemed himself.
Montour, but really Bennett redeemed himself. I mean, single-handedly, tying the game up.
Yeah.
And then another giveaway at the end of the game, letting Pasternak just go in and blow it by Lyon, and then I don't even know how we tied it. We had 20 seconds left off that face-off.
Yeah,
which I don't even know if we won that face-off. We were losing. One of the best face-off guys around, and he was making mincemeat out of anybody that faced him. So all I know is clutch.
Yeah,
Lyon was again,
right.
The star of the night for me.
Yeah, he's when he's good, and then he's had some games when not so much.
I'll tell you what was
go ahead.
And then I'll give you the floor.
Yeah.
Did you notice how they went with Reinhart, Barkov, and Lindell? No defenseman.
Yeah.
Now, we hadn't thought of that, but you know what? I tip my hat off to Maurice for that because why not?
Right. And well, look, you got to figure, Ekblad, and this is just as an aside, but you can't convince me that he's not hurt because as an NHL player, he's so slow in turning around and getting those legs moving. There's no way he's healthy. And so
I think Maurice knows he can't play in overtime. That's why he had Montour out there. It's either Montour or Forsling. But you know what?
But you don't know how healthy Forsling is. He looked okay last night, but to throw him out there on overtime, his knee's hurting, right?
We just got lucky because Reinhardt's shot was, tipped off
1,000,000 miles an hour.
Stick.
Yeah.
So, but the only one that didn't know it was a goal was the referee.
Right.
Who waved it off like a
Yeah.
everybody else. The goalie already
Right.
was headed to the locker room. The Panthers were celebrating.
Right.
All the Bruins players had their heads down. They all knew it went in top shelf and came out.
Right.
The blind referee was
Yeah.
waving it off like it hit the post.
It ruined Goldie's call because he didn't get a "let's go home, baby" in. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, whatever.
we haven't had many of those opportunities this year. But the thing of it is that I talked about this last night, and when this system works, when the Maurice system works, it's ugly, man. I mean, last year was a thing of beauty, but this year, even when we win, it's like you see that the score is we won, but the product on the ice, you're like, are we playing well? People come on the stream, it's like, how do we look? I'm like, that's a trick question, because even when this team is playing the system and playing it well, it's ugly hockey, man. It's not like, oh, we look good. It's like, well, we're winning. That's how we look. Is we're winning. And I mean, the Sam Bennett thing, look, you have to give him a pass. I'm giving him a pass. I mean, every athlete has that brain fart moment. And I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. I've seen the puck go like accidentally off a defenseman's skate or whatever, get in the way and off of his body. But that took some effort to swat that puck out of the air. I mean, he put some thought into that.
Great deflection.
I mean, that was Matthew Tkachuk-esque. You know what I mean? I mean, that was, the
post goal, the whole thing with the hands to the head was priceless.
Yeah.
Like, what did I just do?
What did I do?
But yeah, getting back to Ekblad, bro, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay.
We know his legs are shot. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm now full in. The sooner we get rid of him, the better. He's a defensive liability out there. And the main reason I'm saying get rid of is $7.5 million against the cap.
Right.
We could do a lot with that money. And he's not old where he's untradeable. The question is, do we find a dancing partner?
Right.
That is acceptable to him. Right.
Well, look, nothing ever would surprise me with this team. So I certainly won't say never, ever, could we ever. But like we talked about, other teams, they got TV too. You know what I mean? They could see what's going on, and last night didn't cost us anything, so it's not, I don't want to overdo it, but I just watched him a couple of times, and when he's in the offensive zone and he has to turn around and start chugging into that defensive zone, I'm convinced I could do it quicker. I'm convinced that my hips can swivel quicker than Ekblad's. All right, now that might be a bit of a stretch, but I mean, he can't be healthy.
It happened again last night. Marchand totally blew by him. It happened, Friday night. I was at the game. I'm able to zero in on players. I mean, at least twice the Kings, the puck was shot into our zone and there was a race for an icing, and the Kings player caught up to Ekblad and no icing. So it's only going to get worse. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. But
that's the thing. It's only going to get worse. So, and I know we can win without him. That's right. That's the thing that's been proven.
Right.
I'd much rather see I don't know. I'm going to get off this because I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm just like on a mission now to get rid of him. But
right.
In your last video that we were explaining with the cap and the lack of, we need to make a couple of moves to.
Well, yeah, I went
ensure our future. I mean, to me, Forsling, keeping him happy.
look,
and again, I signed Gudis for another year.
Well, let's get into that
And
for a little bit.
Montour. I mean, let's not make the whole video a regurgitation of what you talked about the other day, because
I'm trying to add. I'm trying to add to that. Because I dug a little bit further, and not only do we have all these extensions for the 24-25 season, so we've got next year's 23-24. For the following season, we have a grand total of 5 skaters under contract. That's it. And 2 of those are Barkov and Ekblad with no move clauses. 5 guys under contract. So you think it's extension hell this season. Next season, we're going to enter the year with like 12 guys. I mean, obviously there will be some movement that happens during the summer, but as of now, we have 5 skaters under contract for the year after next. So the point being is that the amount of turnover that is possible, there really isn't anybody other than, in my opinion, Tkachuk and Barkov, who are, and Lundell. I'm going to throw that in there, damn it. Because Lundell's, cheaper talent. I don't know how we keep everybody. I don't see how, I don't think we can. I mean, you got Duke, you got Reinhart, you got Forsling, you've got Montour needs a contract. Maher's on a 1-year deal. Stahl's on a 1-year deal. Gudis doesn't have a contract. Lundell needs to be. I mean, it is just you. If you look at it can be done, but I mean, Zito needs to hire himself like a Stephen Hawking-ish cap expert because what you do here is like affecting like 5 moves because there's just so many guys to take care of. We rolled the dice last year, man, and snake eyes.
Yeah, well, think about this. They get rid of 2 players. It frees up $17.5 million.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know what's wrong with Spencer Knight. I'm not talking about trading Bob until I know what the hell they did. Now they've said upper body, but upper body could be. I mean, what did he
get? An arm, a hand, an elbow, a head.
Right. What that? I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot more.
The thing that's the big mystery. If anybody can find me videotape of Knight getting hurt during a game, bring it. We haven't heard anything about him getting hurt in practice.
No.
And what could it be?
I mean, they have to tell us, like, if he got hit in practice or something, it was in concussion protocol. We'd know that. So it's not that. And he played. That's the thing that's killing me is he played the 2 games. Not only did he play Saturday, but he didn't get enough work, so they figured throw him out there again Sunday. And all of a sudden now he can't play. I don't know. So the point there is I'm not anxious to trade Bob until they tell us. I mean,
yeah. Well, you can always.
Does he have a rotator cuff injury? I mean, go ahead.
You can always trade Bob and pick another goalie up.
Well,
that's not getting $10 million. That's where they made the mistake in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Look, the
Varlamov,
salary.
Grubauer, Leonard, all those guys were available at $5 million.
Right.
But we had to go for the big PR signing. It was going to be Bob and Panarin. Remember, it was going to be that duo. They were both coming.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
as far as the game goes, we're the only team in the league to beat the Bruins twice.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Figures. I said it after the time we beat them last time. I said, we may not make the playoffs, but if we do, I'm not afraid of the Bruins because for whatever reason, either they don't play good against us or we match up well against them. I don't know, but for whatever reason, we can beat them
here.
Yeah. Right.
Not up there.
Yeah. That's a good point. We'd have to steal one, but making that the P word that I'm not allowed to talk about. That's a different story. Buffalo got a point last night, so is what it is there.
Boston also lost against Tampa too. That's the first time they've lost 2 games in a row this year.
Right. And I wouldn't want to read too much into that because they're probably just coasting into the All-Star break. I mean, they got to win like 8 games to make the playoffs. They're going to have a playoff spot clinched probably with a month still in the season. You know what I mean? So that is what it is. But
all right, so now we go into the break.
Now
let's see what happens with quote unquote 9 days of rest.
Right.
I don't know what the league rule is as far as practices go. I'm assuming that there's no practice, no nothing. It's just let these guys chill out at home, let them sit in their hot tubs and just
right.
recover from all their dings and bruises and muscle pulls and everything else that's going on.
Right.
I guess we're going to see on February 6th against Tampa if Duke's in the lineup.
Well, they had said I think George said this, I think, or it was Goldie, one or the other, said they're looking for after Valentine's Day now. So I think the idea would probably be that when you come back from the All-Star break, that's when they'll probably start full practices with him, I would assume, if they're eyeballing after Valentine's Day, which that's right about when Huberdeau came back. You know what I mean? I think it was like mid to late February. So that sounds about right. And look, to me, you throw him on that third line with Luosterainen and however you're going to work that. I don't want to mess with that top 6 too much. They've got good chemistry going. Which makes it that's kind of why what led me to look into the contract situation for the next year or two, because it really muddies the water now with Lundell and Barkov, with Lundell being a one left wing, right? You're supposed to be developing to be one of your top centers, but you really want to move him off of that spot, right? So it kind of muddies the water in terms of if that gives us an extra left wing, and then where do you start doing there at center? Do you give Luosterainen 3C permanently, and then who's So I guess the point there is that with the turn, we're going to see a lot of turnover, and I said this before the trade multiple times last year. So I guess I'll just get into it. Before the trade happened last year, for a couple of months, I was saying, don't be surprised. We wake up one day and there's 1 or 2 names that are gone and we're shocked. I don't think anybody's going to be shocked, but there's going to be a name or 2 this summer where even I might not be happy. Like, there's no telling who could go this summer.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's going to be shocked with any name thrown out there, because if you weren't shocked with the Huberdeau Weegar trade, even though my man predicted it,
I don't think what we're going to be in for a shock this offseason. I smell tears, disappointment, like no, not him, not why him, because it's just not a numbers game. I mean, even Sam Reinhart, right? It's $6.5 million. You start looking around at the other, at what we have to sign, and he's not under contract for very much longer. So you start wondering, can we extend him? Are we going to pay him? It is a product of, we really, really rolled the dice last year. The more I look at it, and then you throw in the fact that the draft picks that we talked about, where, it's going to be tempting for Zito to look at. We have 4 draft picks in the first 3 rounds combined for the next 3 years. So, Zito can't hardly even remake the team in his own image, so to speak, with the draft picks. Unless you start moving guys, and cap's only going to go so high. So the unfortunate thing there is that we need picks. So when Zito was looking at who to move, the Bobs and the Ekblads with the no move clauses are going to be the least likely to go because we're going to get the least amount of return, especially with Bob. I mean, with Bob, it's just like, throw us a T-shirt and take the salary. You know what I mean? Right? But again, without knowing what the hell's going on with Spencer Knight, he has not. I'm a trifle concerned at this point, right? I'm a little bit queasy about that situation right now. So, there hasn't been too many times when I've said, let's just hold on to Bob and see what happens. But right now, this is one of them, because if you trade Bob, you're going to need half his salary. So that's $5 million. To go pick up somebody else is another $5 million. That's $10 million. You may as well just keep him. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But the other thing is what we're fixing to get into with the playoff race. We'll just call it what it is. Because the one thing that has kept us in it is we have not been on any long losing streaks, which means it's 99.9% likely we're going to enter that last week with, in quotes, hope, right? The 2 points out with 3 games left, and all of that us Panther fans have rinsed and repeated so many times.
Yeah, like miss out on the playoffs by a point, which would have been the point that was stolen from us in Toronto. That's what I foresee.
Yeah, it could happen.
I hate to say it, but if that happens, you remember me saying it today.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the one point that we would have made the playoffs if not for the refs taking the game away. But anyway, can't think about that.
Right.
I gotta hope and think that this was a good way to go into the break, come out of the break with a little confidence that, hey, we go on a 5-6 game winning streak.
Right.
Or 5 out of 6 or whatever.
How about, I think we need like 10 straight. I ain't even playing 10 straight.
Something like that, where we pick up, 10, 12 points and,
Because not only do we have to win the 5 in a row, we have to win the other 3 because everybody has 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
So
and we gotta get lucky with some of the other teams falling apart, which I don't foresee happening, but you never know.
Well, you never know. Buffalo
we just need one spot.
Right.
So,
well, there's a lot of spaces we've left, a point here, a point there. I mean, just against the Kings to not get that to overtime. Yep. You know what I mean? Like Buffalo last night.
And I really thought we were going to tie it up. I was just waiting for the tying goal to happen.
Right. Did you see Kachuk last night on the bench, though, with Barkov after he tied it up? I mean, like a kid on Christmas.
That's your captain, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as far as I don't have anything more, but I do want to give a shout out. Sorry, I didn't give it to you at the beginning of the video, Mr. Paul Z, for stepping up with some Cubans for yours truly.
Nice.
Sent me a picture of a box of
nice
some Cohibas.
Very nice.
Which I haven't had a Cuban Cohiba in quite a long time, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands on those, and I'll be sharing the lighting up ceremony with you all when I get them. But
very cool.
I'll take any Cubans.
Yeah. Cubans. So what about Cuban women? Are you into Cuban women, or is it just the cigars?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we're going there, right? Now he's got his hat on crooked. I've made him. He's got a story he can't tell right now. I don't know the story, but I know that look.
Gentlemen don't tell tales. That's all.
Not on camera anyway. So
that's correct.
All right. So look, Kyle and I are still going to be around this week. We're hoping. Stu and I are hoping to get Randy Moeller this week. I've got a few different pieces of content planned. Wednesday, I should have done this at the beginning of the video too. Wednesday, I'm having another one of those Florida Panther fans have their say live streams. If you'd like to be on that, just email me at flyingfluffyhockey@gmail.com. If I don't immediately respond, don't worry. Everybody gets that treatment.
But and if also write your questions.
Oh yeah, if you'd like
us to ask Randy a specific question, we'll give us your name, and we'll pick a few of the best ones.
Yeah. And then I know Colin and I will be streaming the skills competition and the game. And I have anybody who is going to any of the other all-star events throughout the week. If anybody's interested and they take some film, some footage of those events, I'm going to try to put together a fan footage type of video for after the All-Star break and everything of some of the other events. I know there's some pretty cool things going on. Apparently, they're going to have Matthew Tkachuk wrestling an alligator in a bikini or something like that. I don't know. It was worded strange, but they're going to have something with the alligator. And I want to see Barkov face off with the alligator, just like a blank stare contest to see who could blink first. I think Barkov could win that one. I genuinely do. I'm not. So we'll be around this week. In terms of today, I'm going to go to bed now because we have a 7-hour football stream coming up later on this afternoon. The last double of the year, both the NFC and AFC championship games are on the same day. And it's just one after another. So that's what Kyle and I are going to be doing this afternoon, much to his chagrin. So appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. And I'll see you guys again in 5 hours.
Good luck.